Good morning, everyone. This is Chef Ron with Food Experiences LLC, and this is our Eat Well at Home series. Today we're going to make a great quick recipe for you guys, and it's really going to change your life. It's probably only going to be a couple-minute video here to show you how to do it, but it's how to make roasted garlic and roasted garlic oil, and you can use this in any single dish moving forward that needs oil or needs garlic, and it's really going to make the dish a lot better. So the funny thing that makes this recipe so easy today is you don't have to measure anything, and there's only 2 ingredients. So if you can see in front of us, this is everything you need to do this. You need some nice olive oil. In this case, I want 2 jars. So I measured out the oil into 2 jars so that when I pour it off the roasted garlic, I know I'm going to end up with 2 jars. But you don't have to. If you just want to make one, all you need to do is just pick a pot that when you put the garlic in it, you've covered the garlic completely in oil. And then I'll probably have almost a full jar of roasted garlic, and they'll both go in the refrigerator separately. You have a nice deep pot. Again, the specific pot really doesn't matter that much. It's just so you can spread the garlic out, preferably in one layer, and cover it with olive oil so that's completely covered. In the end, you don't necessarily need a funnel or a strainer. But when I pour the oil into a pot like this, or into a container I should say, I like to do it through the strainer. It catches all the garlic, easier to move it over to the empty one here. And also the funnel itself just keeps it from being messy. And basically, I've looked, I used to go to the grocery store and I used to laugh. Who in the world would ever buy this? These peeled garlic, already peeled like this. But I'll tell you what, when you're doing something like this, it's terrific. So all you do is you take your pot and you're going to pour in all of the garlic. So basically you got a good cover in the pot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pour in either olive oil to just cover it, or in my case I'm going to put in 2 quarts because I want additional roasted garlic oil. Okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but you'll see it when I move it over. What happened here is the garlic is completely covered with olive oil. I'm going to move it over to the stove. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on medium-high just to heat the oil up. And when it starts bubbling, I'm going to lower it almost all the way down to low and just keep very, very small bubbles coming up through the oil. And that's how you want to cook it. You're going to cook it for about 30 to 35 minutes, just with slight bubbles, and then you're going to remove it from the heat and just let it sit for another 30 minutes. And in the end, you're going to have some beautiful roasted garlic that you can, again, once the oil is decanted off of it, you'll have roasted garlic oil, and again, roasted garlic. It'll be delicious. Every time you're going to make something, think about this, because if you go to the refrigerator and you take out and either use some of the oil or some of the garlic or both, I do a lot of cooking either conventionally, or I do sous vide, or I do it on the barbecue, or reverse sear steaks. There's nothing like doing a reverse seared steak in roasted garlic and roasted garlic oil, or again, even on the when you're using oil, when you're doing something on the smoker. It always comes out delicious. Okay, so we put the garlic and the olive oil on the stove, and we turned it up high, and if you can see, it's starting to bubble. So I don't want it to get to a full long boil here, because we'll end up roasting the garlic too much. So at this point, I'm going to turn it down to about a 4, and I'm going to watch it. And in the end, this is about the kind of bubbles you want. So whether it's on a 2 or 4 or 5, it's going to depend on your stove. But all you want is slight little bubbles coming up, and you're going to do that for about 30 to 35 minutes. So we've had the garlic and the olive oil only for a couple minutes now, and you see it's turned down to 4. And if you watch the bubbles, this is what you're looking for. You're just looking for slight little bubbles coming up, and now we're going to do this for about 35 minutes. So we're now about 10 minutes into it, and you can see the amount of bubbles coming off the garlic, and it's just, you know, nice and easy way to go. I had to turn it down to a 3, so you don't want it too vigorously, but it's doing well, and we're just going to keep this way till we hit 35 minutes. Okay, it's been 35 minutes. I just turned the heat off of it, and now I'm just going to slide it off the heat. and I'm just gonna let it sit here for a half hour. Okay, we got another 35 minutes done, and now we're gonna decant them off. I got my handy little helper here, Donna. That looks good. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Boy, I wish you could smell this. This beautiful roasted garlic and 2 quarts of garlic oil. Okay, we're just gonna let that drain a little bit. Okay, we'll just put the strainer back in the other ones, or you can hold that, Donna. As you can see, this is probably the hardest part of the whole thing. This garlic's too good to waste. All right, let's go back and do one more here. Get the rest of the garlic. Can you hold that? Take the strain. Okay, there we go. So what we're going to do is we'll just let these cool off a little bit. We're going to put them in the refrigerator, and it does solidify a little bit, you know, as they cool down. But anytime you're cooking with the oil, think about using roasted garlic oil, and anytime you're using garlic, think about using roasted garlic. Bon appetit.